Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com here at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention in beautiful San Antonio, Texas. Joined by the head coach of the Clear Lake Falcons is Coach Larry McRae. Coach, appreciate you taking a little bit of time to chat with us.
No problem, man.
How's life in Falcon world?
It's been great. Been great. Great summer of workouts. Kids are coming in working hard. We've had gorgeous weather down there. Not a cloud in the sky. About 115 degrees, but it's been great. Like I said, we're looking forward to getting started pretty soon.
So you're entering your third year here at Clear Lake, and you've seen kind of both sides of it. You've seen the kind of, tough first year, and then last year, obviously, a very nice, 8-4 season, nice bounce-back year. I guess my question is, what's the difference? What is the, knowing what you know from your rough first year and then last year, which was obviously so much better, what is the difference?
I think it was just the overall, the unrelenting belief in that we were going to be successful. I don't think a lot of the kids maybe, and maybe even some of the coaches believed me when I was saying it, but I had to believe it first. And I think slowly but surely some things happened. Some balls bounced our way. Some plays were made by guys that we expected plays to be made from. And, just that belief started kind of going. And we had a big win last year against some people that normally Clear Lake doesn't beat, and has some success against a couple of those teams. And I think really I would just have to say back to the Dickinson win last year at their place, was kind of one of those program wins you look back on and say, hey, I think everybody's bought in now. And so that was a big one.
How do you do that? How do you the first year 3-7, if I remember correctly.
3-7.
Sorry, not to keep pounding on it, but you guys, man, 3-7. But it's you guys. How do you get that team that loses 4 more games than they win? How do you get them to believe and say, guys, no, we're right there? What is it about that?
I think it's just everywhere they turn, I think you got to hit them with positivity. Yep. And that's not to say that other programs that might be going 3-7 aren't doing that, but I think obviously we benefit. We have some kids that can get plays done for us as well, and we have some special players that were young that first year, and we put them out there against those tough teams in our district, and we took our lumps. Our quarterback, he was on his back a bunch, in that 3-7 year, and he was on his feet a little more in the 8-4 year, and so that's a big deal too. But the coaches. The coaches that we had there when I got there are great coaches as well. I brought in some key guys from different places I had been as well, and just the overall, just that belief, I think is just you won't find a kid around there that doesn't believe in Clear Lake high school football now.
Is there a different vibe around the offseason now after this versus after a 3-7 year? Maybe a dumb question.
It is. You tell kids all the time, like, hey, you guys, you can't push somebody around. You can't be a bully if on the football field if you're not strong. It's tough to do that. And so you can believe all you want, but if you can't push those bars around either and get strong and all that as well, it doesn't match up like you want it to. And so. That part of it has come alive. Our leaders are there every single day. Just like everybody else, you probably got a couple stragglers here and there. Guys that you need to be there that you haven't seen as much as you'd like to. But I'm proud of our kids, man. The effort they put in the weight room and on that grass when we're doing our running and summer workout is phenomenal. And the great thing is the young kids, they feel that vibe. Those seventh graders that are coming in, the 8th graders all the way up. It's just been a fun atmosphere, and it's a great place.
So the headline for Clear Lake this year is obviously going to be the quarterback Shea, whose last name I definitely know how to pronounce, and I'm just choosing not to.
Of course.
But I'll let you do it to prove to everybody that they already know I know.
And I'll tell you, man, I misspelled that thing probably 85 times. Trying to spell that name. I left the I out or a U out here and there and all that. But
and it's pronounced like
the easiest pronunciation is you say suey like Arkansas pig suey. Suey, and then like ow, that hurt, ow, and then Noah. So Suey, ow, Noah.
Yeah, no, like I was going
to
say. Yeah, before we started recording, like I said. So Shea is obviously a guy who's starting to get some more attention. He's starting to, he's not a sleeper anymore. People are very much awake on him. As the guy who gets to see him every day in practice, what is it about him that makes him special?
He's just and I go back all the time to my 10 years at Manville High School. We obviously had a great run of quarterbacks that came through there every year. And he's got that competitiveness about him that you got to have back there in that position. He's just a truly gifted athlete also. He's that guy, when I first got there, everybody said, oh, did you see Shea in Little League Baseball? Or, you should have seen him then, or you should have saw him in Little League football and all that. Like he's that Clear Lake kind of that legend around there that if you haven't seen him and all that. So I'm like, hey, we're playing high school ball now and all that. But, that kid, I can't say enough about him. He's tough as nails. He's missed one snap in the 2 seasons that he's been back there quarterback. And like I said, the first year, I felt bad for him, how many times he was on his back, but he got up every single play. He had one play where he missed against Alvin after a 45-yard post route to Ja'Cory Morgan, and that's the only snap he's missed out of the snaps we've had. And, we haven't been in games where you could pull guys out and things like that because we're just in a great district with a great teams and great coaches throughout our entire district. And we're not ever in that position, and so he's taking every snap. And so he is a competitor. He's just a true athlete. I've never been on a place where a kid was an Elite 11 quarterback that went out to California and worked with Trent Dilfer. He did that whole thing, and that's just the type of kid he is. Initially, quarterback wasn't his spot, but I said, man, you got to play that for us to be successful. And just a kid that can play safety, play wide receiver. He's embraced the quarterback position now. I think Trent Dilfer had a lot to do with that also. And I can't say enough about my quarterback coach at Clear Lake, who I played at Baylor with, Jermaine Alfred, has just taken that kid and developed him. And, of course, he puts the work in, but he's special.
Defensively, you guys are I think the best way to say it is you guys had greatness there, but you got to find consistent greatness. Do you think that's fair to say?
Absolutely. Those guys, and we'll go back, and I know we read one of the write-ups the other day where it wasn't nice to our defense, I guess you could say, but it was one of those things, the Dickinson game, the Dickinson win doesn't happen without our defense. The Friendswood game last year, 14-10 battle, that doesn't happen with our defense. So it was one of those years where the offense picked it up when the defense, kind of didn't, and vice versa. Our defensive coaches, man, it's a great staff of guys, and they do a phenomenal job of getting our kids ready. And in the district we're in, they're going to get you every once in a while. They've got great athletes around the district too. But if we can get consistent on both sides, and when those two things match up, just like with anybody else, it's beautiful. When you get offense and defense kind of job at the same time, and special teams. But those guys, they're hungry and they're ready, and they read some of that stuff. I let them.
Well, good. We'll keep writing mean things about you guys. You mentioned your district. Not a whole lot changed, and that seems to be the problem. It's a loaded district, especially up at the top. I'm really interested in your perspective on it. I know you were giving me trouble wishing we had ranked you guys lower, wishing we had sandbagged you guys a little bit more. But overall, when you take a look at 24-6A, what do you think? What are you looking at?
Man, it's we lost Friendswood. You lose a team that's a consistent second, third round playoff team or further. You lose those guys and you think, I got easier, type deal. But you can't say that. Coach Nelson, those guys over at Dickinson do a phenomenal job getting their guys ready, and what a program Dickinson is. And then, Coach Daly, the moment he got back there to Clear Springs, look what he's done there, and it's phenomenal. I know, even at Clear Falls High School, Zach Head and Clear Falls, man, those guys got it going on too, and they're special also. And Alvin High School has a new coach now as well. And then over at Clearbrook, Coach Flores and those guys, they ran through the 7-on-7 circuit a little bit and had some success there. And, Coach Lane, when I was at Manville, he was at South Houston, and I know what a good job he gets his guys ready for ball games too. And, just it's crazy. It's one of those districts where, and I told somebody last year at this time too, I said you could easily go – 7-0 in district, you can go 0-7. And it really is true. If you don't show up on a game night, you're going to get beat.
It's every single week. Now, I do have to ask you an uncomfortable question, which is, of course, you previously you were at Manville.
Oh yeah.
Manville played a game recently that people have been talking about. I'm very interested in your emotions watching Highland Park 53, Manville 49.
Man, it hurt my heart.
I'm sorry.
Those kids that were seniors were sophomores when my last season I coached at Manville, and what a ball game, man.
Yeah.
If you're a unbiased, watching the game and all that, just what a phenomenal. But I'm still, I've got the Hoka. I was there for 10 years, and all that. We just. We've got our thing going on Clear Lake, but I watched that game, and my heart hurt for those kiddos too, and for Coach Martin and those coaches on that staff that I spent a lot of time with. There's a couple points in the game, as Coach Martin won't admit to it probably, but I had some advice for him after it was over, just like any great coach.
You're second guessing him.
Should have ran the ball third down.
Should have done that. But yeah, it's an unbelievable game. It's something we'll be talking about, and you mentioned as an unbiased person, the great news for me is that that's me.
Yeah.
That I get to watch that and just
Absolutely.
be like, holy crap, this is incredible. So
Yeah.
you don't have that luxury, unfortunately. You have to be emotionally invested.
Yeah. And then, like I said, we had taken one trip there, 2011. Jonathan Gray and Alito beat us that year when we were at Manville, and we felt like we were in it a little bit, but it was kind of not. I don't know if it was a better. You can't. That game's hard to outdo the Highland Park Manville game from this past year. I mean, just a great ball game, And I didn't make it in person, even though I wanted to. My wife is actually still a counselor at Manville High School, so we're sitting. I actually live in Alvin, Texas, still right down the street from it. So, so. It's one of those things. I was watching it with a little bit of, obviously I was rooting for those guys and those coaches and that community. I mean,
Sure.
the community deserves a state championship there, just like multiple other places. Clear Lake High School, hopefully one day can be on that level
Clear
too.
Lake deserves one. I'd say that. Let's
Absolutely.
get to the Dick's Sporting Goods Wheel of Questions.
Uh-oh.
It is brought to you by our friends at Dick's Sporting Goods, dicksportinggoods.com. There's nothing on there. No questions on here that's going to get you fired, but you do have to answer the question.
I got you.
So go ahead and give this thing a spin. Larry McRae of Clear Lake spinning the Dick's Sporting Goods Wheel of Questions. Fantastic. All right, what is your go-to order at a Mexican food restaurant?
Oh man, I'm gonna go kind of plain here. I'm an enchilada guy, but I like a little variety in my enchiladas. So
okay.
I'm a trio enchilada.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go cheese. I'm gonna go hamburger meat, and I'm gonna go chicken.
All right, I like it. If now let's say I'm gonna put you on the spot. Let's say though you can only sauce with one sauce. Are you going?
It's got to be queso.
Got to be the queso.
You got to drown it in queso.
Listen, this is Larry McRae. He's a trustworthy person because he puts queso on his.
O lineman, former O lineman.
Love it, Coach. Appreciate your time.
No problem. Appreciate y'all.